Okay. All right. Thank you for that question. Once again, excited to be here and good to meet everyone. I like to sort of think of my career as I think I started out right out of secondary school around 2012, 2013. I was sort of playing around with Wapka.mobi. I'm not sure whether there are oldies in the house that know what Wapka.mobi is, but playing around with Wapka.mobi and webs.tk, was it webs.com, all those different sites, and just trying to create one or two things. And along the line, from I got into the Java College of Technology first, and while a student there, I sort of learned more about WordPress from some people that I used to attend seminars back in the days. So from those seminars, I learned that okay, there's WordPress, you can use it for this, and then opportunities started coming to create simple sites for people and then earn small money. And there was a time when I think my first site that I got paid for, I think I was paid 5,000 naira, and I was very happy that day because I was the biggest guy in town. Nothing nobody could tell me. But then fast forward to I got into University of Lagos to study systems engineering in 2014. And then of course, because systems engineering, we had to do some courses that had what's it called? Some courses that had programming inside of it. And then I had like the other opportunity to sort of enter a program called Code Lagos, I think around 2017. So for learning in Code Lagos, combining with Andela Learning Community, and then building on all the existing knowledge that I had picked up along the way for learning how to code and all of that. And then sort of continued. So I was actively coding. I used to write mostly backend, PHP, and then the front end for the PHP website, and then extend WordPress with plugins, custom themes, and all of that. Back, let me not say back in my days, but yeah, you get the drift. So I think along the line, I think along the line, around 2018, while I was still in school, a friend reached out to me. He said, Alpha, let's try and help people that are learning how to code by teaching them. So we're in school, wanted to teach Unilag students how to code and how to design. And then sort of started out a program called Engineering Career Expo. And I was responsible for the tutors. And so that led me to meeting some people that were in the DSC program at Unilag at that time, because I wanted to learn how they were doing it. And I sort of joined their team and sort of led into my first foray into communities and community and how communities work and all of that. And from learning about that and foray of communities and how we work, sort of now helped me to sort of helped me a lot because I now picked those knowledge to use it to apply to become the GDSC lead in 2019. And then I became the lead. And then my community journey has started right from then, from 2018 up to now, when the up to the point that I am now. Upon finishing school, though, I'd done some work with what's it called? With a fintech as a DevRel. I'd also done some work as a program manager in an edtech before now transition into Google. So I had like all the, and I think what really helped me in terms of even both DevRel and community management or program management has always been that I can sort of relate to all the technical needs because I still code in my spare time or to get some things done at work. And I have that background and technical background to be able to understand what the developers or designers they are going through. I can hear myself and I can hear you. I would say that at the forefront of most growth that I've found in my life, it has really been community, right? And I would say it in two ways. Number one, I've gotten like a lot of opportunities to learn and pick up new skills at different point in time. That's firstly. Also, just to add, I've also gotten that opportunity to for people that speak for me in rooms that I am not part of, right? So I am not there. I don't know what's going on. And then somebody's fighting for me that no, Sodiq should be the one to do this, or Sodiq should be the one to do that. And I think that people could only figure that out or get that because they saw that, okay, this guy is part of this community and he has this sort of impact or this level of, and then this is all, these are ways with which you can also help him to grow his career and things like that. So I really like to really look back and attribute like most of the things that has been like successes back to where it all began from, communities. An interview, to be honest. So it was just, hi, what's up? How are you? So this is what you have done before. How much you want to earn? And so that was just it. So it was really like more of like we're just gisting and just chatting. And I think that what really helped me to make that happen was because of some of the past things that I had done and the level of the people that sort of vouched for me and said, this is the person that we want to fill this role. Yeah, just minutes ago, I was trying to. So my work does not primarily involve like coding, but then because I have background knowledge in coding. Ah, also, so my work is like so because I support communities across Africa. So my work is mainly sometimes full of meetings on some days, right? Where I'm jumping from one meeting to another, trying to check up on maybe different community organizers reaching out. So first part is different community organizers reaching out for whether they are blockers or they need support or all of that. The second part is speaking at events. So one of the ways that we try to use to support communities is to speak at their events and sort of revitalize the members. So speaking at events, the third part will be now creating what we call campaigns across the region, right? So when we sort of want to help, right, in terms of whether there is a particular skill that we want members of communities to learn, so we now and then it is at the end that you now look back and everything sort of makes sense. And sometimes it's like that for me. So most challenges that sometimes looks like apps are not sort of yielding the results that I wanted to yield. Maybe because as is trying to stack it up and pay it up to me later. Or sometimes it's not just working, no matter how hard I try, or all the effort that I put in, or everything that I do. I've also had the problem of because I sort of like I do what is called context switching, which essentially means that I know how to do multiple things at the same time. And then sometimes it affects me because I'm doing multiple things at the same time, does not necessarily make my life easier or my does not necessarily make my life easier. You get what I mean now? Because it means that sometimes it's not everything that I want to be done that as I'm always switching from. Please check your message. As I'm always switching from one thing to another. So yeah. Okay. No, I think I can. I think I can just check them out. So Jacob is asking, what's the path to follow for someone with less than 2 years of experience to join Google? So for what's it called? Sorry, please give me 1 sec. Okay, sorry, I'm back. So the part for me, right, to follow for someone to join Google from my experience, right, because I didn't typically, so I knew I was going to work at Google at one point, but I couldn't say that this is when, or to put it plainly, I didn't expect that this would be now. But I think that the path to follow is typically the same thing. Try and pick not the skills that is required for the work that you are doing, apply with those skills, right, for that work that you want to do. When you sort of apply and you put in of course, put together your CV, put together, there are different levels for different roles. So try and check the level that is required. So how many years of experience? 1 year, they are like beginner roles. So yeah, internships or entry level associate positions, or senior level. So once you know the particular role that you're applying for and you see the JD and then you follow the normal interview guidelines, then you can put in your best fit. I know that we launched an interview warm-up tool, something of some sort, and you can definitely check the career website. It has all the different tips on what recruiters are looking for in your CV, how to navigate interviews, and all of that. But it's the same thing with entering different company. Identify the role. When there's an opening, apply. There are always openings in different teams. So sometimes it might not be the team that you want to eventually work in that you might work in, but then you can use that team as a where you enter from as a springboard to sort of move and enter another team. Because I've seen people that sort of started out like, so for example, the role I currently feel, somebody that was feeling it before, like about 3 or 4 years ago, that was doing something very similar to what I do, so similar title, now works as an analyst in another team entirely, right? So it's easier for you to like sort of transfer if there's a need in another team when you are on the inside. Brandy Tech is asking for the communities you support. Is it only Google communities, or are there allowances or space for? Yeah, there are definitely. We do what's called. So apart from the Google communities that we have what is called a BDC, which is like other external communities. So you see like Google, whether it's Google themselves or as Google devs, whatever of our different arms, trying to also partner or sponsor or build relationship with other brands. So yeah, there's definitely that part of things in terms of allowances or space for other communities. Yeah, I did. Yeah, so interestingly, I did so because Google do not call the Google do not call us DevRel, even though what we do is like DevRel, right? You know, different companies, different naming convention, and different title. But yeah, in terms of what DevRel do is, I like to see DevRel as the intersection between engineering and community. And I divide DevRel into like 3 parts. The first part is the DevRel engineer, which is essentially the person on the DevRel team that's sort of responsible for creating things like API, what's it called, plugins, um, scripts, all these different, much technical things, sitting down, writing the code that you can sort of connect to, or whether you're an outsider or even your internal team. The second part is really like a technical account manager that sort of serve as support and to sort of serve as support between somebody's trying to integrate something and it's not working well, so what is trying to integrate something that is not working well. So that's another way we look at it. And then the third part of DevRel is, what's it called? The community manager itself. So someone that sort of manage the community, do communication, and all of that. So I like to divide it into three parts because DevRel itself is really wide, and it's always good for you to know exactly what you want to do. I think when I first got my first DevRel job in fintech back then, I was doing the three because I was really like I was like the number one on the DevRel team. And then it was like they threw me inside the hot water because really trying to I was able to do it successfully, right? But looking back, I tell people that if you can, don't try to be the one person on a one-man DevRel team because there's just so much work, keeping up with the documentation, trying to speak at events. I didn't even forget that part, right? Trying to speak at events, managing community, all of it is a lot of work. But knowing you can first be generalizing and try to pick up and have skills in every of them, and then now trying to now be specific and picking up which one exactly you want to do. I think that really helps. I hope that answers the question. Someone is asking, what are some resources that really helped you to become a better computer else? Because if you don't quickly sort of use it for what you have outlined that you wanted to use it for, right? So you might lose that. It's a time-bound action. And then now I'm doing this thing. So typically in most days, I do go from having community office hours where communities or somebody that wants to talk about anything, personal, business, life, community, anything at all. Then from jumping to that call, do get some work done in terms of all these different things. There are so many facets about managing communities, right? And then along the line, as I'm doing all of these things, people are always pinging me because we use WhatsApp a lot in this part of the world. So most people don't use emails except when we are disbursing funds. So they will either just ping and say, I want to do this. So they say X, and then depending on what they want to do, I follow up with the global team. If it's somebody on the global team, don't forget, it's also a global program that is handling that particular thing. Follow up with the person, because I know that there are like 3 different things I had to follow up with the global guys on that we needed to get done ASAP. And then, some days it's filled with parties like yesterday, because we had Google for Africa. So there was a party in the morning and a party in the evening, and all those sort of stuff. Yeah. So I think that's like a typical, and then replying to emails. I can't count the number of emails that I get every day. So trying to respond, stay on top of the emails and all of that. There are different broad ranges of name. The secret is usually in the description. Then because Google is global, so know where you want to work. In some time it might be the Nigeria office or the Nigerian arm. In some time it might be the South Africa, depending on where we have offices, and sometimes it might be fully remote. So knowing where you want to work also matters, and then now trying to continue to build yourself, continue to do the work so by yourself in terms of whether you are in terms of whether you are learning how to do A, you are learning how to do B, and then really constantly showing off what you are doing. So talking about it on LinkedIn, talking about it on Twitter, talking about it on social media, so that because DevRel, people really have to see what you are doing, so they can see that, okay, this person has done A, this person has done B, and then we can validate that this person has done it. And yeah, because this person has done it, we can sort of go back and say, okay, this is, and so that by the time you are applying for the work, people can sort of look at it and say, this is solid. You get what I mean? They can look at your history and sort of look at your resume, your public profile, and then I think that there's also something called community CV for roles like DevRel. It's not like your typical. So instead of showcasing, you are showcasing what you have done in the community. So that sort of also helps you to That sort of really helps you. So BuildUp.